Hey, okay, so Tori Hartman here, and we are going to talk. I'm going to talk a little bit about the West children who were reported missing on December 21st, 2020. And before I get into that a little bit, I want to just give you just a tad bit of background. I know that I'm Mm-mm. I don't even know. I'll be honest with you guys. I just had my internet redone. So here we go again, right? All righty, let's see. If you are here, would you just let me know? Just go ahead and say hi, because the thing is with the new internet. Yay! Okay, guys, good. Joseph, good to see you. Oh my gosh, so many cool people are coming in. Good. All right, so what I'm going to talk about is the West boys who went missing on December 21st, 2020 in California City, California. We're going to talk about some of the oddities with it, and I'm also going to share with you. It was because of DutyRon. A lot of you know him. He has his own channel, D-U-T-Y, DutyRon. He is a retired New York City detective, cool guy, pal of mine. And he messaged me, I don't know if it was yesterday or the other day, and he said, hey, would you go live with me? I just don't know if my internet's working, you guys. Can you tell me if it's working for you? I just, that's the issue I'm having. So there we go. Okay. Hi, guys. I am so sorry. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, this is a real problem, I guess. Okay, so I'm just going to hope that this works. Oh, gosh, it's so frustrating with this stuff. Let me just see. Okay. I know. I just redid it. Let me see if that's working. You know what? YouTube does suck. Thank you. I'm like so frustrated with this right now. Okay, so the problem I've been having with the internet has been that we found out finally that there's something on my street that hasn't been working. So duh, after 2 years, right? Okay, I'm going to try to get through this. I want to make this a fairly brief thing because tonight DutyRon has asked me to join him to talk about this case. Now, he had messaged me the other day and said, listen, would you look into this? I want to kind of get your intuitive side of things. And because he's going to be talking about the boys who went missing and I took notes so I could be very succinct. The boys who went missing in California City, California. And I'm sorry to no disrespect meant to them. These are darling boys. They have Oren and Orson are their names. They actually were renamed those names from their father, their now adoptive father. I really have a hard time saying their father. It's just a really thing, Okay, so the first thing that I want to mention is that DutyRon had said to me, here's two videos. And of course, guys, I mean, seriously, when you start getting into a case, it's almost like that. I don't know if you remember that game years ago, Mousetrap. There was a ball and it just goes, everything starts going at once and you're just going down and down. And he had said he wanted my intuitive hits. So I started taking notes and I realized that what I was doing was I was listening to what Trezell had said. And then I had visions, two very important visions before I even looked at anything. So I want to tell you what those two visions were. And then I want to give you some of the woo stuff. Let's see, why do I have adoptive kids? Oh, please don't even start with me on that, because it's like, are you kidding? Okay, because it's really for the money. Let's just say this, okay? There's a whole timeline with Trezell and Jacqueline that I want to share with you. So I'm going to start from the beginning and just give you a little bit of my take on it. And then tonight at 8 o'clock, if you're live with me now, come join us over on DutyRon's channel, because we'll be talking. All of us will be talking. It's myself, DutyRon, and another detective, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot who is going to be there. So it should be really fun. But I wanted to give you just my flat out, vibes on this. Okay. So when I got that text from DutyRon, I said, I had vaguely remembered, and the odd thing was I said, yeah, there were 6 children abducted, weren't there? It was weird, right? And I looked it up and there were only 2. And I was like, I wonder what the 6 is. And then when I did and I don't mean only 2 to minimize it, but when I started to do the research on it, what I recognized was, they have 6 children. 2, they were birth children, and 4 were foster to adopt children. So that's kind of that. Now, the 2 hits I heard right away were, why do I keep hearing carry out? They carried out. So it was kind of like they were carried out. That was the one thing I heard. The second thing I heard was something about their aunt. So Oren and his brother, right? They have an aunt. It's kind of like, what is that about? Like, and I think that she was very, she was like very, I think so, Joshua just said 5 o'clock PST. Thank you. So one of the things that I want to say about that is that I didn't know who the aunt was, and I felt it was their aunt, the boys. I also want to tell you that the actual video, the conversation where Trezell and his wife Jacqueline are talking about the missing boys, that tells you everything you need to know. All right. And as someone who listens intuitively, now when I'm asked to listen intuitively, I pick up things. So he said a couple things that really kind of, I know a lot of people have talked about some of this stuff, but I'll go over it. So on that day, he said it was about 4:30. Now here's something interesting for those of you that follow woo-woo a little. 444 is actually an angelic number. It is something that in numerology, it summons angels. So it's kind of a protective and very profound number. Now, what's interesting is I looked up the sunset of that day because I wanted to see when the sun set in California City on December 21st, the day they were abducted. The time of the sunset was recorded at 4:44 p.m. So I thought, that's interesting. And I immediately got this hit that they were gone. They were not in that house, and that started to get me thinking. And then when I heard carrying out, right? But I want to back up a little. They moved into that house. I think it was the end of September, early October, and no one had seen these boys. No one saw these boys. Now, if you think about the term carrying out, right? What do you carry out? Well, you're carrying out your things when you move, right? You're moving, so you carry them out to a moving van. So I feel like something in that was very prophetic for me. Like there was something around that. And again, I'm going to talk a little bit more about, because I want to get more of the police idea when I talk to DutyRon tonight. But a couple things that I want to say. If Jacqueline was wrapping presents and they put the 2 young ones outside to play with chalk on the patio, right? That seemed odd to me. Doesn't it seem odd to you? Like if they have 6 kids, where are the other 4? Are they watching her wrap gifts? Why were the older children not with the younger children? So there is something that the children know that the police have not told us because they don't have enough information yet. So I feel like we simply don't have enough information. That doesn't mean good or bad. And Tony just said, why would people adopt children just to abuse them? Well, I think that they adopted them for the money. Okay, that's my opinion. I'm going to come back to chat in a second. Okay, so he said, and the other 2 things he did, which was very interesting, he never mentioned Jacqueline's name, his wife's name, just like Chris Watts, if you remember. He said she, and he also said the kids or the children. He did not say their names. And I think for me, I learned so much from watching and following that other crime, because I feel like I really got to see some of the machinations of going on in a mind, like someone who has some kind of hidden rage. Now, that's another thing I picked up right away. He has hidden rage. And when he was talking to the cameras, he just tells the story and says, yeah, they were in the backyard. I went out to get wood and to burn in the fireplace. And I was thinking to myself, and DutyRon said this, there was no wood. But what I kind of got from that was, okay, so he goes out to get the wood, and then he comes back in, and then he goes out again, and he notices the gates open. So something about his timeline and his story just doesn't vibe. And part of what I was feeling was that when you are trying to play two roles in your life, when you're trying to, it's like being a cheater, right? You have to come up with a story to be home, and then eventually your own words are going to be like, they're going to be screwing you over. Okay. So what I want to say about that is, they asked him when he called the police. He said, I don't know, like 4:30. A little after 4:30. She then said in the interview, she used this term. She used, I love you guys going on about this. Okay, check this out. Jacqueline, the mother, said, after he said, when did you call the police? He said after 4:30, and she said, after we searched a little bit around here. Now, I got to tell you something. I'm a dog person, okay? When my dog goes missing, I am nuts, okay? And, we've gone off it's just off the radar, right? So what I'm saying to you is, a couple things I want to say about the things in chat. I'll come back in a second. So let's see. Okay. They also looked very nervous. They didn't look grief-stricken. They looked, one of the things I really got, again, if we go back to the Watts case, and I'm going to tell you a big woo, okay, a really big woo a little later. Okay, so when we go back to the Watts case, going like this, the mom was going like this, exact light, right? It's like, I can't believe that not one person in the neighborhood, right, was saying, yeah, they were out frantic. Okay, so not that. Okay, so he says that. Okay. All right. He says that, and then there's a pause, and he says, that's how it played out. That's how it played out. That was a very odd choice of words, don't you think? I mean, when you think about that, yes, exactly. Karen Wise just said he was self-soothing. She was. Yes, exactly. Now, obviously, she is the one who probably will crack. When we look at them, that was my vibe, but DutyRon's going to be able to tell you more on that later, but she was like this. And when he said that's how it played out, I was looking at her, and she just had this look like just any abused mom. Hold on, my guest just came in. I'm just doing a live feed. Hi. Okay, so I have a weekend guest. So anyway, so that's how that played out. Okay. Now the other thing is, when, remember I said at the beginning of this, I don't know if you caught the beginning of this broadcast, but when I said the aunt, who is she? I was kind of like, what is that? And then I saw a little bit, and I want to follow this up later, just so you kind of get this. I said, who's the aunt? But on the video, there was a quick pan of the boy's aunt, and she was enraged. She was so angry at them. And I think there's something about her that feels very truthful to me. So I feel like she has information about this that she's like, because she's too angry. Do you know what I mean? When someone's that angry. So anyway, then the other thing, and I want to come back to that a little later. Sorry, Iris, I'll be there in a sec. Okay. My friend's here. Okay. So then, I don't know if you know this, but their original names, check this out. I kind of missed the second name a little bit, but the first boy was named Sincere. What an interesting name, right? And I thought it was like classic or classy. I don't remember what the second name is, but they were very angelic, sweet names. Okay, they were kind of like that vibe, right? And then he says, check this out. when he says, we named them, you know, it was really odd to me. Like he said, oh, Oren and Orson, and something about we named them. And I thought, you know, the way he said that, it was like he was naming dogs. I mean, I hate to say that, but like when I adopt a dog, you know, a lot of times the breeder will, you know, call the dog, you know, Fly or, you know, Fun or whatever, you know, or Cheese Face. I don't know. But the point is that when I get my dog home, as I'm with that dog, I change the name. Classic. That's what I thought. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate that. So it was, Kim just corrected me. It was Sincere and Classic. I thought that's what it was. So I changed the name, right? But I don't like, but no offense to anybody, but it's a dog. You know, I'm like, what's he like? And I went, yeah, he's more like a this. And I kind of vibe into what that dog is. But like my Owen who passed, that was his name from birth. And he just always seemed like Owen. So I gave him Owen Wilson. And I kind of, you know, but it's just the way he said it. And you understand when I say this to you, you know, let's see, people on drugs, foster, they want the money. Yeah. Follow that trail said, once adopted, they're now under the radar. Let's hope they didn't sell these kids for money. You know, I actually think, and here's the part I wanted to get to with you guys. You know, Jacqueline, one of the reporters said something to Jacqueline, and they said something about, and I forget what it was, but something about, you know, have you combed the area? And she goes, where do you live? And I thought, that's very interesting because that deflective behavior. Okay, couple things I want to say, and then I'm gonna talk more tonight on it with DutyRon. But first of all, rambunctious. He called the kids rambunctious, and thank you, Michelle. Yeah, I always forget. If you're new to my channel, please hit like, and please subscribe. That would be fantastic. I am going to be doing a very interesting. I'm working on it right now, and I'm going to be recording them and putting them up on my new channel, which I will talk about. Which are the I'm going to be doing Chris Watts' family tree and how to look at hidden agreements in a family tree. So I'll be doing that on my other channel, and I'll be announcing it here soon. That's my little commercial. Okay, so rambunctious. Now this is an interesting thing. You know, I don't yet, Kim asked me about a membership. So let's talk about this. I'll come back to, thank you, Kim Smith. So let's talk about this. Rambunctious. I pulled out the synonyms, right? Because a lot of times there is a deep-seated, you know, your brain will give you away. It's or more your intuition. So it's like listening to like a word like rambunctious to call two children, you know, the rambunctious. Okay, well, yeah, all right. But it just seemed, no offense to anybody, but he's talking about hitting the corners, and then suddenly he's using a word like rambunctious. So it feels like it just feels like something is not congruent about his languaging. So here's what rambunctious means. It says rude, unruly, disorderly, rough. Let's see, loud, turbulent, boisterous, raucous, and rowdy. That's not a positive word. It's not they were high-spirited. You know what I'm saying? Like when you talk about your kids, you go, oh yeah, you know, they were a handful, or what, like with my dog, he's crazy gray. But it's all in the tonality, you know? Good to see you guys. Oh, okay, so let's talk about a couple of these. Brenda, thank you for the super chat. I don't think the boys ever made it to Cal City. I am just about to get there, Brenda. Brilliant, brilliant. And I'm going to say to you, I do not think they made it there. And let's talk about that. Okay. Now, I do think that, and I agree with this, there is a massive underground pedophilia thing going on. I do not believe. Let me put it this way. I do not think it's connected with this particular case, and bear with me. Because I think, check this out, in the old apartment that they lived in, all right, and I did some Googling, and I found their place, and I looked at the where they lived, right? Their apartments, and I'm just going to kind of do it like this, although I will have a picture for DutyRon's show later, okay? But basically, if you imagine the apartments are over here, and it's kind of like brush is covering it, you know, trees. And on the other side is kind of like just a little sidewalk kind of thing, but across the street is a massive dirt lot. And when I tell you massive dirt lot, that's where people dump garbage. That's where they, you know, just, it's kind of like, and when I say a dirt lot, In California, it really is a dirt lot. Nothing will grow in that heat. Okay, so it's completely exposed. And what was interesting about it, if you remember, he says, wait for it. And I wrote this down because I wanted to have the exact wording. Okay, he says about chalk on the back patio. And I was like, it's okay to use chalk on the back patio. I don't believe he ever said that to these children. I think he says that to the ones he has. But check this out. He says, and this is when I say he, the father, and I want you to listen to this exact phrase. Do not let them go in the dirt in the backyard. And he says, yeah, I told them, they could, they were playing out back on the concrete, on the patio with chalk. Do not let them go in the dirt in the backyard. That just seemed odd to me. Why would you say that to the news? Like, do not let them go? Who's he talking to? I think he was talking to his wife, Jacqueline, about the dirt lot at the other location. Do not let them go in the dirt in the backyard. Because part of it is he's trying to draw that correlation energetically between, the thing about lies are you use as much truth as you can, right? But when you think about it, the way he phrased it, he didn't say, I didn't let them go in the dirt in our backyard. That's crazy because they get all messy, right? He did not say that. He said, do not let them go in the dirt in the backyard. I think he was referring to the apartment houses they lived in with the massive dumping dirt lot across the street. There's one other eerie thing I want to tell you about. You guys ready? And it really was the scariest thing ever. Yeah. What was so scary was when when I was doing it in the Google Earth stuff, and you kind of pan around, and there is on the other side of that dirt lot I'm not kidding. You can't make this stuff up, guys. I'm telling you, truth is stranger than fiction. There were like oil tanks. And I went, those oil things like Chris Watts. They were exactly there, and you just said Nor went there and walked the property across from the apartments. It was definitely a dump site. Oh, yeah, she's great, by the way. And by the way, her name is Nor Jasmine. She's fantastic if you get a chance to look at her stuff. And their backyard is all dirt. There's no grass. These two boys were the only two kids home that day. Oh, thanks for saying that, Kim, because I couldn't understand that part. That makes a lot of sense then to me, because it's a good time for these two to say they were missing. So there was a couple other things. And by the way, do not let them go in the dirt in the backyard. That statement alone, okay? Because listen, the cops are already onto this. They're listening deeply, right? So when they heard that, they went, oh, I'm going to go dig up the backyard. Right? So they dug up the backyard they're presently in. But I must tell you, I don't really feel that the boys were in that house. And I know that sounds like, and you heard me say this right from the beginning. When I talked about that other case, I said the kids were killed in the house, and then later we found out they were killed in the car. But there was a statement later, way later in the Watts case, where he said, I tried to kill them in the house. So it was kind of like that feeling of, I don't feel the children were in that house. And the other thing is, where's the chalk? That's something that really hit me, is that, when they did a shot of the patio, which was very brief, I didn't see any chalk on there. Did you see any? I didn't see anything, but then what do I know? The other thing that's very interesting, and I want to bring this up to all of you. By the way, thank you, Kim, for the super chat. I'm so involved in this. I don't know. I do not think that the police, the police actually looked at the lot yet, but I don't know. And yeah, I got a message to watch Nor's thing, and I'm going to do that. So there was another thing that I wanted to look up here. Oh, this is very interesting. I'm going to talk about the timeline of the adoption and the fostering, their birthdays, and then I'm going to see you tonight. So here's what I want to tell you. Monument Security went bankrupt. Monument Security was obviously a security guard, how can I say, they hire security guards out to events and things like that. They went bankrupt. And guess who worked as a security guard? Let's see. The father, Trezell. He worked as a security guard. Now, what does that tell you? Well, it tells you that he's going to have some inside knowledge into how to, how things work criminally, right? Because one of the things you look at is if somebody's doing that kind of work, they're going to know certain things about it. It doesn't mean they know everything. Let's see. Yeah, they definitely are going to know something about how the law works. But here's the thing that will always trip them up, is the idea that when they're talking about it, right, when they're doing that, and they're talking about the story, he was reliving that moment when he's saying, oh, do not let them go out in that dirt, in the backyard dirt. He was trying to put two things together, as I said a little earlier. Now, when did his company, Monument Security, go bankrupt? Well, they went bankrupt around 2017. So what's interesting about that is that because he lost his job, now think about this, they owed him a lot of money. The two were very broke, but I want to share with you, I also wrote down the amount of money California gives for foster kids. It's around anywhere between, check this out, it was going up. It was anywhere between 500 and 1,000 per child. So it actually went up right before they foster these children, and then after they adopt, they also get money. So what was coming up to me is somebody said, well, maybe they adopted them, before the change happened. I said, no, because Orson was actually born June 11th, 2017. If that was his birthday, and that was around the time that Trezell experienced the bankruptcy, then August 4th, Oren was born the year before, August 4th, 2016. But here's my feeling. Both of those kids went into the foster care and went to these people around 2017. Now, in 2018, they were actually fostered. So things like this, they fostered them and then they adopted them. So I wrote my notes like a little crazy. So the thing I want to say to you about this is that there is, my mother used to say there's a weasel in the hen house. So I'm going to talk about this more tonight. I know, in the backyard. That was a creepy moment. Avalon Apples just said that. That was such a creepazoid moment, you guys, when she just went in the backyard. I mean, I was kind of like, that went out of the blue, And the other thing that I want to find out, and I didn't find out, and I would like to, I'm curious if the cops have any thought about this, where the old place where they lived, if you look, and I had seen some pictures too of the old place, because somebody sent me some snapshots of it. If you look at their old place and there's this massive dirt lot, I wonder if the people who live there didn't sometimes go into the backyard. Sometimes you nickname an area. So I wondered about that as well. Let's see. Yeah, that was so creepy. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, somebody, I think it was Shay said, it's sad that people do this for money. Of course they do. Because when you think about it, having 4 children, that's $4,000 a month. I mean, for anybody, especially this day and age, and remember, with COVID going on now, it's kind of like, too many mouths to feed. But at the end of the day, I do think that they were keeping a charade up as long as they could to get the money. And that was my statement on it. Let's see, one other thing. Oh, the Monument Security job. So my feeling is he lost his job. They had 2 nickels to rub together. And I think that they fostered and adopted these children because that was going to be their livelihood. I also, it's something, I don't know about you guys, but what is it with white vans and criminals? Okay. I know that I think when about a while back, I talked to DutyRon about this, and it was what's with the white van? It's almost like, why don't we just sell them as like criminal mobiles, right? Because it's kind of like, what? It's like, why are you driving around in like what looks like an abduction vehicle? Okay. And why did he have that big van? I mean, the reality is that, he was a security guard and he lost his job because they went bankrupt and they took the money from him. The other thing I want to kind of leave you guys with as a thought is this man, I think just looking at him, I watched him and I watched her and I went, he's a rager. He's got a temper like you can't imagine. And I suspect if there was a way to get some of the reports from his security guard assignments, I suspect you might find a couple things where people said stuff. And I say this because the thing that is super important about all of this is that I think that the fact that sunset that day was 4:44 p.m. and that is a sign of the angels. And when I picked up what the aunt was saying, because I just picked it up, like listen to the aunt, their aunt. And I want to go back and see if she made any statements because I really feel that she said truth. When you're in a rage, okay, or in panic, everything that comes out is true. You can't lie. Like, if that's a true emotion, then you're just going, and you did this and you did this. And it's like you're saying stuff, right? But if you're afraid of getting caught, you think you're controlled. But what's happening is, and that's what my vibe was with the two of them. They weren't like going, oh my God, we can't find our children. And I didn't see that. It was the same thing of like an inability to feel. Now, I do think this is just a hit I got, that Jacqueline was afraid for her own life. And this is what happens a lot with abused women is they just go, I'm not saying nothing because he's going to hit my ass later, So yes, definitely follow that trail. Check out Noor. She's great. I really like her channel. And welcome, Marshall Dove. Good to see you. And I just want to say hi to a couple people. I plan on doing more of this, and I really want to have you guys tonight. I'm going to invite you over to DutyRon's channel. Join us there. We're going to be talking about this case from a police and an intuitive, just that kind of like how I hear and how they hear. And I think it's an interesting, if you will, I think they're very similar. And yet I think that one of the things that police officers, I'm going to ask DutyRon this tonight. So I think that police officers listen for something that is incongruent, if that makes sense. They're listening to something that, why would you say it was Thursday when it was Saturday? Like, why would you have the time wrong? And which makes a lot of sense because they're looking at timeline, they're looking at the facts. And the minute that jumps out, it's like, uh-oh, you lied once, you're going to lie. What I listen to is I listen and see different types of signs. For example, I'm looking at, a child the first child that he's June, I think it was June 12th. I'm going to look, but he's Gemini, and the second child's a Leo. So the Leo is definitely going to speak up. Okay. He's going to tell you what he thinks. So, and the Gemini doesn't stop talking. So these two kids were probably a lot for Trezell to handle. And I also think that he was very contained in that interview. So I want to hear tonight, and I want to see what you guys think about. Let's see. Shay just said, I found it very telling that his arm were crossed and the hands under his armpits, and she rocks it. Yeah, when he was like this, my gosh, isn't that exactly what Chris Watts did? See, I go back to that case because that case changed the entire way I see, I see crime now, and I see the way people try to hide it. And, it really is, rambunctious. I want to say that when I see someone, and even go back to the Watts thing, he was using words he didn't even know what they meant, right? So this guy is using words like rambunctious as if it's just, They're just so rambunctious. And you know what? Rambunctious is not a positive word. And I really felt that that was a rehearsed word. So there are things that he said, do we have to subscribe to DutyRon or will your page give us notification? No, go over to DutyRon, DutyRon. Go on over and subscribe. I'm telling you, Brittany, you'll love his channel. Hi, Paul. Good to see you. You'll love his channel. He's fantastic. And he does a lot on the police perspective. And he and I are great friends on YouTube. So we're kind of like, you know, and he checks on me. What a nice person. Let's see. I'll watch you tonight after football. You are so funny, Claral. Let's see. Someone in the crowd says no emotion, no nothing. And he does that aggressive throat clearing again. Kate Cakes just said that. Yeah, it's it's because when you are panicked or lying, or even if you're telling the truth, sometimes you get, you know, but I don't think that their emotions were appropriate to what was going on. And that's something I think I'm seeing more and more in criminal tells. And I want to talk about that tonight. So again, please join me tonight, 8 o'clock. We will be live over on DutyRon's channel. I've got a boatload of stuff to do. And so I'm going to go do it. But I'm so glad I got to see some of you today. And yes, I am working on my new channel. It's going to be, you know, kind of, I'm thinking I'm going to call it Less Woo, More You, but it's basically, I'm going to be taking crime from a different perspective over there. When I do talk about crime, I'll be talking about it from family charts and hidden agreements with ancestors, and how that kind of like an agreement to heal something can go horribly wrong. Like in the case of Chris Watts, I have the entire family tree. I have the mother back several generations, and I have the father back several generations. Fascinating tree. It's got a lot in it. So I will be announcing it here when I'm doing it. Unfortunately, I cannot do it live yet because I don't have 1,000 people on my other channel. So I'll be doing that taped, and then I'll be doing Q&As after, as soon as I get enough people on that channel. The kids were at the age where they can express themselves more clearly. Amy just said that. Absolutely, Amy. And then I just want to say, Amy's right on. They were at that age, and I think they were saying things that Trezell just didn't want to handle. The other thing I really pick up on is there's something about Trezell and his childhood, and I'm going to talk about that later tonight. I am so glad to connect with all of you, and yes, to answer your questions that are going on here, I am back. I'm definitely doing shows again. I just had a very rough year, and I feel like, you know, we're kind of like doing this again. Okay, we're going to dance together. All right. Oren Student Forensics. Woo! Welcome, welcome. Grandma Moses, welcome. Let's see. I commented earlier, her book letter was taken off Amazon. It was plagiarized. Yeah, Grandma Moses. Yeah. I remember that that comment. Dave G, good to see you. Just want to shout out to people. I don't usually put too much stock into the emotions. I look at body language and the way someone tries to lead an interview. Brenda Redmond said that. Yes. And here's the thing. Police do that. I actually, because, you know, intuitively what I'm looking at is how they're phrasing things. And also there's something in that I pick up with their emotions. I'm very sensitive to emotions. And I think that's true of anybody that grows up with alcoholism, to be perfectly honest with you. I think we have to learn how to dodge. And so that's definitely my point. Let's see where she, let's see. Oh, that's okay. Yeah. All right, good. Great to see you guys. Hi, Dawn. Hi, everybody. DutyRon. So I want to remind everybody, there's DutyRon right there. He is going to, I'm going to be live with him tonight, and we're going to go deeper into what he has learned about this case and what I have come up with, and we're going to like noodle around some of the possible ideas. And I know DutyRon will be straight as an arrow about the law around it. So I will see you guys tonight. JC, good to see you. Brenda, Shay, DutyRon, thanks for the super chat. You are just like, you're the best anyway. So join us tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time on DutyRon's channel. And if you are in the UK, dude, stay up, have a cup of coffee, join us, have chocolate if you prefer. But you know, you're quarantined pretty much anyway in the UK, you're on lockdown. So stay up. All right, I'll see you guys tonight on DutyRon's channel. And if you're watching this as a replay, you can go over there and watch the replay there. Have a great day. And I look forward to seeing you later on. Bye for now.